welcome back to my Mounjaro journey and my week 12 weigh-in results. So today I'm just going to share a little bit of an update around how my week has gone. Apologise for not uploading any sort of mini updates in the week. It's just been really manic with work, and home life and work has gone over into my home life this week, and it's also the summer holidays, so there's been a lot to contend with. I have notes because so far I've tried to record this throughout the afternoon and it's been long, rambly and not really getting to the point. So if you see me looking down, I'm just looking at my notes. So today I'm going to share a bit of an update, my week 12 weigh-in results, and set myself some interim targets for August. So I do just first of all want to say thank you very much to people who have watched my videos, liked them, subscribed and commented. It's been really lovely to have the comments this week and have that interaction. So please do continue to do that. And if you are watching and haven't subscribed, or you're new and you find this at all interesting, please do subscribe and comment. It's been really lovely to hear that people have found my content interesting and helpful. And equally, it's really nice to hear how other people are getting on their journey. Within that, I just want to say well done to David, who in his first week lost 10 pounds, which is amazing. And I look really forward to hearing further updates from you, David, and from everybody else. So please do share. So as a bit of an update this week, I had talked in a previous video about getting my new pen from a new prescriber. Obviously, as you know, I was a bit anxious that wasn't going to happen. It did happen. It came last week. And so today, I haven't done it yet. It's now 6 o'clock. I will do my first 7.5 milligrams of Mounjaro jab. I'm really excited about that. I talked about it previously, but this last pen for the last 4 weeks has been really hit and miss. I've had days where I've been hungry, but not really focused on food. And even though I'm busy, that's never been really an issue before. And so I've been able to make better choices, and then there've been other days that I've had no suppression whatsoever, and all I can think about is that I'm hungry, and I have definitely eaten a lot more and not always made the best food choices. And so that's been an ongoing battle pretty much since I started with this new pen. So I am really excited to try the 7.5 and see if it has the same results that the 2.5 and then the first pen of 5 milligrams did for me. I do intend to do some updates throughout the week, even if it's just sort of very brief or some short sort of updating how I'm getting on the 7.5 milligrams, and I'll definitely talk about in my next weigh-in video how I found the 7.5 and the comparison between the 7.5 and the 5 milligrams. But yeah, really looking forward to that, because at the moment the Mounjaro is not really Mounjaroing, and that really has been the case for the last 4 weeks. However, within that, it's meant that actually those new healthy habits that I'm trying to develop, which ultimately are going to be the thing that keeps me maintaining a healthy weight, are having to be used and put into practice. And what I would say is that I am managing a lot better than I ever have previously. And I've never got to the point of a 12-week weight loss journey where I've still been motivated, and I'm not forcing myself to do this, you know. So there is obviously something within the Mounjaro that's working, but I am having to put into practice the things that I have actively tried to change. And the reality is that Mounjaro doesn't mean that I don't eat. I know people have varying symptoms. I talked a little bit last week about eating those pick and mix and having not very nice symptoms. However, I have eaten things that aren't ideal, junk food, when eating Mounjaro, and I haven't had side effects. So, you know, it's very possible that I could have continued my really poor eating habits and still, you know, lost weight. But actually what I'm finding is not thinking about food all the time. It's allowing me to want to focus more on nutrition and what I am actually eating, and what the foods that I'm eating are going to benefit me. And therefore I am making actively more healthy food choices and paying more attention to things like macros and healthy fats and protein in a way that really I never have before, in actively been trying to lose weight. And, you know, for example, there was a period of time when I began to count macros and got quite into that, and there was quite a strong fitness community of macro counting online, and I got quite involved in that. But as soon as those initial weeks died off, and I just reverted to old habits. So that has been a real benefit for me. And probably something I will talk about is what I've experienced in terms of those changes whilst on Mounjaro and what's been different with other journeys that I've tried before. So I can't remember if I talked about it before, but I've been a prolific rejoiner of Slimming World since, not in the last 3 years, but prior to that, the decade before that. I never followed the Slimming World plan, primarily because actually what it is healthy eating. But in my experience, there was no nutritional advice given and that may be different for other people, but the groups I went to, there was never any nutritional advice, and it was a standard advice for everybody. So I was going, and at my highest weight, probably around 19 stone at my highest weight of going to Slimming World, maybe even slightly more, and the advice that was being given to me at that weight was the same as the advice being given to somebody that maybe only had a stone to lose, or even somebody that was much bigger. And of course, that the standard advice around food consumption and all of that isn't going to stand, it's not going to be the same for all of us. And so there are pitfalls to that. And I understand about nutrition, as I've said before. I'm not claiming to be like a nutritionalist or a personal trainer or anything, but I understand about nutrition, and I went to those groups because they were a motivating factor, and there was a community in it. There were, I wasn't on my own. I could get advice from others. I could get support from other people. But ultimately, I wasn't addressing any of the issues. But I think I probably will talk about that in another video, because actually that particular journey was quite harmful for me in a lot of ways. And from what I've seen, it's a similar experience to other people. But I'll also maybe talk about some of the things that I found positive in those groups. And absolutely, I joined and rejoined over the course of a decade, more times than I wish to admit, because there were benefits there for me. So last week I talked about interim targets that I had set myself for July, and I talked about wanting to hit the 90-pound loss barrier. I hadn't calculated properly, because actually at that point I had already gone over the 90 pounds. I think I was 91 pound lost when I uploaded that video. So I did hit that interim target. I also hit the 6.5 stone target last week, which is amazing. And the other target I'd set myself for July was to get into the next stone bracket. So when I weighed last week, I was 14 stone 5 pounds, which I don't have the kilograms or pound amount. I will try to remember to put them in somewhere here. The finger is so that I remember to put them in, because obviously I don't have anyone else doing this. It's just me. So I just have to remind myself to do that. So I will do that. And so I was really, and just not to ramble, but that's something I've noticed this week, that there's been a shift about. I'm not so focused on numbers, and that has never been the case for me in a weight loss journey before. Whenever I have lost weight, I have been fixated on the scales and the numbers, weighing myself multiple times a day, knowing down to the ounce how much I weigh each day. And I think that feeds into that unsustainable thing for me and the amount of time I'm therefore able to do it for. This week has been really different. So there have been multiple days this week I haven't weighed myself, and I haven't been worried about weighing myself. And when I have weighed myself, I genuinely cannot remember what the scales have said. Equally, there has been a more relaxed attitude around the numbers, and maybe that's because I'm now starting to see the weight loss. And I think I talked about it before, but even when I'd lost 4 stone, I still saw the same Keely that was at her heaviest when I looked in the mirror, and I still saw all the areas I was unhappy with. And so it was a real focus for me. And I've hit 4 stone weight losses before. I've hit 5.5 stone weight losses before, but it has been all consuming. And actually, at the minute, I'm not that worried about the figures. I'm not that worried about what the scales are saying. I log on a Thursday because that's the official day I weigh, and I log it, and now I make these videos. But outside of that, I'm not acutely fixated on it, which I absolutely have been in every other time I've tried to lose weight. And again, there's a freedom in that. There's a huge shift in that for me, which I'm just absolutely buzzing about. So before I come on to this week's weight loss, which, spoiler alert, but I was absolutely shocked at 12 weeks into my Mounjaro journey and a year now, around a year into my overall weight loss journey for my result this morning. Just to go back a little bit, I will be honest, last week I was a bit disappointed with my £2 weight loss, and I had to have a conversation with myself, which I've been having with myself all week. And that is, previously when I've lost weight and then I've sort of stopped losing weight, gained the weight back, gained more weight than I had in the first place, I've had an ongoing conversation with myself around the fact that had I not been so hard on myself and just aimed to lose £1 a week or half a pound a week or even £1 or £2 a month, at the time I'm having that conversation with myself, I would have been at my target weight and maintaining it for a little while. And I've always promised myself that if I got back to that sort of weight loss again, that's what I would aim to do, that I would aim to lose little amounts of weight as often as I possibly could, with a view that actually 12 weeks down the line, you're 12 pounds down, as opposed to where I was, which was stones and stones up. And so when I weighed last week and I was disappointed with the £2, that was the conversation I had with myself, that actually I could allow that negative history of thinking derail me, or I could look at it like, if I lost half a pound a week from this point in 24 weeks, which sounds like a long time, but it isn't, I will be at my target. And that, having that conversation with myself whilst I'm this weight compared to having it when you're 7 stone overweight, it was another sort of target I wasn't aware that I needed to set, that I had managed to achieve getting back to that weight. And I'm now in a position to do the thing that I promised the bigger Keely that I would do if I ever got back here. And so this week I was fully prepared that I might stand on the scales and the results could be half a pound. It might even be a maintain. And actually, that's fine. Because if it was any of those things, in 3 months, I'll still be much closer to my target than I would be if I allowed that disappointment to derail me. So today, that was the attitude I got on the scales with this morning. And I lost £5. And to say that I've lost £5 before. I'll put a thing up at the end, which I have in the other videos, where it breaks down my weight losses just whilst on Mounjaro, because I've only been weekly logging my weight losses whilst on Mounjaro for the last 12 weeks. Prior to that, I wasn't keeping a track of how much I lost, mainly because there were so many months of just going up, down, which led me to use Mounjaro in the first place. And so it's only that, but I was absolutely shocked this morning that I'd lost £5. And I haven't even had a week where, I haven't had a bad week, if you like. I think bad is probably not a great word to use, but I've had a realistic week in that I have been hungry. There have been days when I've eaten to the point that I felt full and bloated, which I really haven't done for the whole time I've been on Mounjaro. I haven't made the best food choices. There has been a day that I had a McDonald's, albeit I couldn't eat all of it. And there's been a day I had a Subway, again, couldn't eat all of it, but I still have had those things. But I've persevered. I also haven't been to the gym, so I didn't meet that target of going. I haven't been to the gym since my last videos where I was at the gym, but I have gone out, and I'll put a little snippet in here. I went out for a walk in this sort of forest nature reserve that is, it's a really, really good workout. It's a lot of up and down, like going really, really down and then really, really steep uphill, and you feel the burn, and I absolutely did, and I'll upload that. And I haven't been there for about 5 years, just because actually it's a hard workout, and I managed that, and I felt really good afterwards. I actually felt really good whilst there. It was really nice to be there, and yeah, so I have maintained exercise this week, but it doesn't feel like I'm just exercising for the purpose of losing weight. It feels like I am making lifestyle changes, which ultimately maybe is a difference. That previously, yes, I've made lifestyle changes, but it's always been for the benefit of losing weight. And this time I feel like I'm doing it for the benefit of lifestyle choices. and changes, and to be healthier and happier. And I feel all of those things. And maybe that's why, even though I'm absolutely elated that I lost 5 pounds this week, of course, I really am. I just feel better in general. And I don't feel as trapped by all of those barriers and trappings that being overweight to the extent that I have been puts into your life. So in terms of what that means for my overall weight loss, and I'm going to just look at my little list because I wrote it down. So in the last year, I have lost 6 stone, 12 pounds, which is 96 pounds overall, and 43.54 kilograms. So even with written down, I get it wrong. Since the 8th of May, when I started using Mounjaro, I've lost 3 stone, 8 pounds, which is 50 pounds in total, and 22.67 kilograms. So that's just in the last 12 weeks of using Mounjaro. So I am 2 pounds away from a 7 stone weight loss. I am 1 pound away from getting into the next stone bracket, so the 13 stone bracket, which was obviously one of the interim targets I'd set myself for July. But how I'm feeling about it now is that hopefully I get there next week. If I don't, I'll aim for it the week after. And that means ultimately I am 1 stone or 14 pounds away from my current target weight, which has been my ideal target weight for about 16 years, which just doesn't even feel real. Like, it had been my dream target weight for so long, and it's never been achievable or attainable, and therefore it's never felt realistic. So it's always been when I've joined Slimming World or when I've done my own weight losses where I've sort of written things down about, you know, what I want to hit each week or targets. 13 stone bang on has always been the number that I've set. You know, I might, if I get there, I might change my mind nearer to that. I might decide I don't want to lose that much, or realistically, I can't see that happening. Or I might decide I want to go a few pounds under that. Realistically, it's not going to be more than sort of 5 pounds either way, I wouldn't have thought. But it's never felt achievable or attainable, and I've never achieved it or attained it. And so to be within a stone of it, within, you know, just 12 weeks ago, I was anticipating in 3 months' time I would be 20 stone again. So to be there, to be where I am now, so close to that target, almost doesn't feel realistic. You're just waiting. There is an element to me, the negative side to me is waiting for the bubble to pop and the reality of the situation to kick in. But equally, it all just feels really amazing. And without a doubt, I would not have been able to get to this point without the tool that is Mounjaro. I just absolutely wouldn't have done. And I know that because I've got the evidence of 20 years of yo-yo weight losses and despair and dieting. And that just feels absolutely incredible. And I know I'm not on my own in that, because I watch other people that are blogging about their Mounjaro journeys, and, you know, it's people are smashing it, and that's amazing. So in terms of further targets, what I've decided to set myself is some generalised targets for August, because I'm a person that's quite driven by lists and targets. There is a motivation in that for me. And whilst I don't feel unmotivated, I want to keep having things that I can recognise and celebrate for myself. So I'm going to have to look at my list, sorry. So I would like to get into size 12. So currently I am now comfortably in a size 14. When I started this journey, I didn't have a fixed size, so I'm heavier. I wear a bigger size on the top than I do on the bottom. But I was sort of a size 20, size 18, no, comfortably a size 20 trousers. And I would wear a size 22 to 24 for it to be baggy top. I'm not overly driven by what size I am on the top, just because of body proportions and so on, but I'm currently comfortably in a size 14, and I would like to comfortably get into a size 12. If I can, I'd like to lose 7 pounds in August, but again, I have written that down. Equally, if I don't lose 7 pounds in August, and I only lose £3 in August, it's £3 that hopefully I won't have to see again. I'd like to be able to just wear a swimming costume when we go on holiday at the end of August. Last year I wore a swimming costume with shapewear underneath, my own bra underneath, and shorts over the top, and sometimes a t-shirt, and I was uncomfortable, and I was acutely aware that I looked semi-ridiculous, and so that just made me feel more uncomfortable. And of course, the more you cover up, the more it probably draws attention to you like that. I would like to just be able, never going to be able to wear a bikini unless I win Euro Millions and I can invest in lots of Kardashian style surgery things. However, I would like to just be able to wear a swimming costume when I'm in the sea and in the swimming pool. I would like to be able to go, I want to set myself a target of going to the gym at least 3 times a week and do 2 park runs. So I have re-signed up back to park run. The reality is I would like to have somebody to do it with me. I can't get anybody in the house to do it with me, unfortunately. But I will continue to work on them. And I would like to do at least 2 park runs a month. I would like to do 2 video vlogs a week, even if they're just sort of little updates around how I'm getting on. And I will absolutely try and do that this week around the 7.5 milligrams and the impact of the 7.5 milligrams and how I find that. And I'm building up the courage to do a video of me doing my jab. At the moment, I haven't built up the courage to do that, but I will continue to see how I feel when I'm doing it. I have actually recorded it. I'm just not confident enough to put it up as a video yet. And I'm really not sure how much anyone really wants to see that anyway. But I continue to record it, and if I do feel like sharing it, I will do that. So in all, that's it. This bit feels like it's been a really long video, so apologies. I also I've got an area that I want to record in, but it's just setting it up, and also, not having everybody in the house sort of walking through. Of course, the minute you start recording down, like in the living room, for example, everybody's really interested, and then I can't do that. I just get too embarrassed. So I would like to start recording my videos in one area, but all of these things can be worked on, I suppose. It feels like it's been really long. It's been a really, really good week. As I said, just to recap, I lost 5 pounds this week in week 12 of Mounjaro. And so for me, overall, that is a 6 stone, 12 pound weight loss, or a 96 pound loss, or 43.54 kilograms. So I'm now a stone away from my target, which is absolutely amazing. And like I said, I just wouldn't have been able to do this without Mounjaro. So yeah, amazing. Let me know how you're getting on. And again, thank you for watching, and please do subscribe and comment and like if this is helpful to you at all, or you just like hearing me ramble on. But yeah, thank you everyone. Have a really, really good week, and I will try to hit those mini targets and do some updating vlogs. Bye. So if you've made it to this part of the video, I just wanted to upload this little section of some of the exercise that I did this week. So we went to it's not a nature reserve, but a forest that's not that far from us. And we did a really, really, really good exercise. It is a real exercise, and it's absolutely beautiful, and it's a lovely place to be. Me and my partner have been going there since we were children. It's so magical and whimsical. It's like an enchanted forest. It's also a really, really good workout. And we had walked quite far down into the forest, and then I volunteered to push the buggy and the toddler back up the hill. I couldn't manage it the whole way. I did a fair amount of it. And then my lovely cameraman here took over, and wow. I could feel the burn in my arms, in my legs, in my little toes, in my chest. It was hard work, but this is exercise I haven't done for 5 years. And the last time I came here, I had done an exercise. I was on a weight loss journey and had lost about 4 stone. But it felt amazing. It was lovely to be back here, and something I want to integrate into my routine as much as possible now is to sort of get out and utilize places like this that we're so lucky to have. And as you can see, it's just absolutely beautiful, and it happened to be on a really, really lovely day, not like the rest of the days we've had this week, which are rainy, and we had hailstones earlier. So yeah, just wanted to share a little snippet of this and thank Mounjaro, really, and everybody for watching. But it was absolutely an exercise, and I'm talking over it so you can't hear, but I was breathing really, really heavily. I was giving any good telephone serial killer a run for their money, but I've talked over it so you can't hear it. So yeah, thank you very much everybody for watching. Have a good week. Bye.